This is part 2 of the Owl Society speech. As militant centrists, we believe the only way to free the people is through force, because the powers that be are desperately attached to their elevated positions, allowing them decadent lifestyles while we are struggling to survive on their terms. We welcome all peace officers and military personnel to join us in abandoned defense of the enemies of the planetary citizenry. All freedom fighters are welcome. There are many other ideas we have that will be organized in the future in a manual we will make available to everyone. I, Badr Hakeem Gardner, the founder of this organization, has written and will continue to write literature until the manual is finished. We will post links to this literature, which can be viewed on Facebook, along with our emblem and ideas for uniforms. If you wish to join us or have questions or comments, I can be contacted at owlsocietYFOUNDER@gmail.com or capital B ADRU capital A KEEM capital GARDNER on Facebook. Our motto is Bello in Republica Religionem Corporatum, which is Latin for war against the corporate state religion. This is the Owl Society's revised 10-point program. We want freedom. We want power to determine the destiny of our various oppressed communities. We believe that people will not be free until we are able to determine our destiny completely with the means to do so. 1. We want full employment for our people. We believe that all branches of government and the highest level of business is responsible and obligated to give every person employment or a guaranteed income. We believe that if the ethnocentrist American businessman will not give full employment, then the means of production should be taken from the businessman and placed in the community so that the people of the community can organize and employ all of its people and give a high standard of living. 2. We want an end to the robbery by the capitalists of our various communities. We believe that this racist, sexist, homophobic, and ageist government has robbed us, and now we are demanding the overdue debt of a living wage. 40 acres and 2 mules were promised 150 years ago as restitution for slave labor and mass murder of black people. We will accept the payment in currency which will be distributed to our many communities. The Germans are now aiding the Jews in Israel for the genocide of the Jewish people. The Germans murdered 6 million Jews. The American racists have taken part in the slaughter of several million black people. Therefore, we feel that this is a modest demand that we make. American institutions deprive women of equal pay and treatment on the same level men are allowed to pursue. We demand an immediate end to this exploitation, including sexual slavery in its various forms. We demand to end all the practices that have robbed the destitute people from realizing their dreams as a privilege are free to pursue at leisure. Members of the LGBT community are victims of violence, alienation, and individualized, as well as institutional oppression from the corporate state religion. We demand that they be free to practice love in its adult consenting form, no matter what an arbitrary scripture might dictate to its followers. We believe that ethnocentrism is the enemy of all people, disallowing them to freely associate with each other on the terms of equality and justice for all. Separation of the people into races and distinct nationalist cultures is a crime against humanity. The intellectual manipulation of the people in these various communities divides the populace to make them easier to rule, the poor fighting the poor, instead of the inevitable awakened plunder of the richest deprivers. Finally, we demand that all people be given the right to elect representatives of the massive citizenry as long as their intellectual properties remain intact to represent themselves confidently in a volunteer government where the roles of debate, clerical, and legal work are circulated to any individual willing to take on the burden for a modest compensation if their work is interrupted for the grand purpose of ruling themselves regardless of age. 3. We want decent housing fit for the shelter of human beings. We believe that if the ethnocentrist landlords will not give decent housing to our various communities, then the housing and the land should be made into cooperatives so that our community, with government aid, can build and make decent housing for its people. 4. We want education for our people that exposes the true nature of this decadent American society. We want education that teaches our true history and our role in the present-day society. We believe in an educational system that will give to our people a knowledge of self. If a person does not have knowledge of themselves and their position in the world, they have little chance to relate to anything else. This is the end of part 2 of the Owl Society speech.